take you to a step beyond all of this, just to give us a sense of Western Australia, which you know very well. You may well be heading to an election quite soon. The Barnett government, we know there, is on the nose. The most recent polling, in fact, in the Western Australian newspaper put the opposition there, despite its own problems, a fair way ahead of the Barnett government. Do you expect that you'll be able to hold what you have in Western Australia, including the senators that you have at the moment?
Well, given that the Labor situation in Western Australia is so dire, in particular with the 3 members that they do have in Brand, in Fremantle, in Perth, all saying they will not be contesting the next election, I think we have a very, very strong case. In Western Australia in particular, you know, a number of the policies that we did manage to get through under the former Abbott government, you know, repealing the mining tax, repealing the carbon tax and stopping the boat, they resonate so strongly with Western Australians. But in particular, you know, we are a transitioning economy in WA. We're going from that, you know, mining phase through to a more services-based industry. We want a Prime Minister who is excited about innovation. We want a Prime Minister who understands what a transitioning economy is. And I don't think that there can be any arguments that Malcolm Turnbull is not the man to lead us to the new economy. So in Western Australia, we very much understand the issues at play, but we also understand that Malcolm Turnbull is the man who really does have his finger on the pulse.
But the issue for you there is that they feel the circumstances of that transitioning economy much worse than anyone else in Australia. So you've seen, in some parts, the employment drop off a cliff. You've seen your housing prices fall, and quite often people blame governments for that. So they may well blame you, even though the economy is transitioning, for their circumstances.
But we also, though, in Western Australia, have seen a growth in the jobs in the retail sector. We've seen job-related growth in the health sector, the aged care sector, and job-related growth in the hospitality sector. So certainly, I think Western Australians can see that whilst we do see the jobs reducing in the mining sector, and that's obvious, we are growing those sectors that very much are the new economy. They're also seeing the investment that the government is making, so the $1.1 billion investment in our innovation agenda. I think Western Australians appreciate that this is a government that, whilst we recognise we are transitioning, we are doing everything within our power to ensure that we grow the industries where the new jobs are going to be. And we're very much focused on what is now coined as the future of work.
Well, we do have to let you go on what I imagine is a busy day, and we have other crossbenchers to hear from as well. Just one final point. While it looks a generous allocation of time, 3 weeks for the Senate, we know when senators gather, they get up to all sorts of shenanigans. What would be the attitude to the establishment of a committee inquiry, an old favourite of the Senate?
Can I say, if they were to have yet another inquiry into a bill that has already gone to a number of committees, and again, I will write the reports for you, because the positions do not change, that would just be, quite frankly, genuine obstruction and a deliberate step towards a failure to pass the legislation.
You would call it on that?
It is not for me to ultimately call it, but certainly we are giving the Senate an opportunity to debate or to consider in detail this legislation and to go to a vote on it. Do you support it or don't you? A very clear decision. Anything that leads us not to get to that situation, I believe, is an indication of an obstructionist Senate.
Well, it certainly is brinkmanship. It's going right to the edge, and you're going to be on it. So, Michaelia Cash, thanks so much for your time today. And
great to be with you.